Penguin Random House Audio presents The Dad Coach: How to Lead Kids to Succeed on and off the Baseball Field by Mike Matheny with Jerry B. Jenkins. This is the author, Mike Matheny. To the memory of the epitome of coaches, John Wooden, to whom character took precedence over ability, and to the man who remains my own dad coach to this day, Jerry Matheny. Also to Kristen and our kids, their spouses, and our grandchildren, Tate and Margaret, Riker, Gunnar, and Rory, Katie and Tyler, Jax and Shay Mikey, Luke and Annabella, Jake and Macy, Asher, and Blaze. You bless me beyond my ability to express. Also to my little band of warriors who have become men, thank you for one of the best experiences of my life, where one teaches to learn, and I have learned so much from each of you. Thank you for allowing me to be your coach. Thank you to Steve Linton, John Mabry, and Rick Sims for being great dad coaches and taking over when I got called up to the big leagues. I hope you take as much pride as I do in what our boys accomplished. A coach will impact more people in 1 year than most will in a lifetime. Billy Graham. Introduction. Want to make a real difference? I'm guessing you're listening to this book because perhaps you're desperate. You drew the short straw, or maybe in a moment of weakness volunteered to coach a youth league baseball team. Whether or not your own son is on the team, if the kids you're to coach fall between the ages of 6 and 12, my goal is to help you maximize your critical role. If you're coaching 6 to 8-year-olds, you're likely involved in T-ball. 9 and 10-year-olds might make use of coach pitching or start having the kids on the rubber. 11 and 12-year-olds will, of course, be on their own on the field. Beyond that age, kids will often be trying out for advanced or traveling teams and looking to play high school ball. Regardless of the age of your players, you might be tempted to view coaching as simply a civic duty, a diversion you might enjoy, something fun that you might even be good at. As a fan and maybe a former player, you know the basics, the ins and the outs of the game, and maybe you even see yourself as a savvy strategist. But now you find yourself with a dozen or more packages of pure energy. Just keeping them in one place while they throw projectiles and swing clubs seems daunting. If you're not diligent about taking charge immediately, you'll wind up with a bunch of kids at your feet, tackling each other in the outfield, throwing tantrums when they strike out. Then you might find yourself on the phone with parents who suggest better ways to train and use their sons. Believe me, I've been down this road, being the only big league manager to come directly from coaching a youth league team. So let me help you here. Believe it or not, you have the real opportunity, and may I say, a serious responsibility to profoundly influence these potential world changers. That may sound outlandish, but I'm a believer in youth sports and their ability to change lives. Sports made a colossal impact on me, but not for the reasons you might think. Yes, I became one of the very few kids who went on to become a college scholarship athlete, a Major League Baseball player, and eventually a manager, but I'm talking about an entirely different kind of impact. The old school coaching I was privileged to receive is not what made me a big leaguer. That was the result of physical and athletic gifts for which I can't take credit, though I don't apologize for exploiting them by striving to be the best I could be. Rather, the way I was coached molded me into the person I am today. It gave me the drive, the determination, the perseverance, which I contend would have blessed me with success in any life endeavor, even if I had not been fortunate enough to have been athletically gifted. That's why I'm committed to seeing that kind of coaching become the norm again, to stop having to refer to it as some treasured relic. Let me get right to my point. Too many parents who volunteer or are pressed into duty to coach their kids' sports teams begin with the wrong idea of success. It is well documented that less than 1% of the kids they coach will play that same sport at even the varsity level in high school, let alone at the collegiate or professional level. Yet I see many youth league coaches catering to the 1%. I propose we use sports to teach young people not only the skills that can make them the best players they can be, but also the character qualities that can make them the best adults they can be. Better spouses, better parents, better professionals, leaders, teachers, executives, and employees. Let's invest in young athletes during their most formative years to help them learn the power of teamwork, instill in them the pride that comes from hard work, teach them how to lose with dignity and win with respect, and develop the ability to go the extra mile, to persevere, and to effectively manage their time, all while establishing meaningful lifelong relationships. If you're as fortunate as I have been, a decade or more down the line, you'll look back on that first day and try to remember what the grown men you now know looked like, acted like, and sounded like when they first joined your team. See these young men today and hear them recall what meant the most to them as teammates back when they were kids. Well, it doesn't get better than that. I'll include several of their memories throughout. And if those spark in you a desire for the same kind of results, I hope it makes you double down on the resolve to do this right. Sure, anyone would be thrilled to say they coached a kid to athletic greatness. But imagine playing a role in turning kids into people of true character. Coaching done right can help raise great leaders, men and women, capable of influencing every facet of our future world. Your first step. We'll start by examining your view of success. Once we're on the same page, I'll propose ideas, theories, and processes proven to help you navigate these strange waters. Along with some talented dad coaches, I have designed age-specific drills and exercises to develop skills and have drawn up step-by-step practice plans to help you achieve the improvement these young ball players hope to achieve. I'll offer game preparation and evaluation techniques to help keep you on track and the kids engaged. Fun should be the primary goal at the early ages, and I'll offer time-tested advice on how to make this not just an experience you endure, but also one of the most meaningful time investments of your life. Why? Because character development is even more important than athletic training. Sure, you might become the rare coach who sees one kid out of 100 thank you the day he wins a scholarship, or you might even see that one kid out of 1,000,000 get drafted into the pros, or not. If you define success by that 1% or worse, by that 1 in 1,000,000, you're likely to be disappointed. But get character development right, and you'll have all the kids you coach, regardless of whether they ever play the game again, thanking you for teaching them life skills. Can't beat that. If for you, the definition of coaching success becomes instilling character into the 99%, you'll enjoy fulfillment that lasts a lifetime. The genesis of this book. As I trudged off the field at Fenway Park in Boston in the fall of 2013, I felt dejected for the second time by a World Series. As manager of the St. Louis Cardinals, I had seen the Red Sox win the championship in 6 games. I had to admit I'd come a long way since my last World Series appearance. That was in 2004, when I was a catcher with the Cardinals and the Red Sox swept us in 4 games. It had been a destiny postseason for Boston, during which they overcame a 3-0 deficit in the American League Championship Series against their rival New York Yankees. Beating us sent the World Series championship trophy home to Beantown for the first time in 85 years. So, 9 years later, I again found myself in that so close yet so far abyss. But what a ride to get to that point. I had retired from baseball in 2006 after 13 years as a catcher for 4 major league teams. The next year, a group of parents of a 10 and under youth baseball team, which included one of my sons, asked if I would become the coach. Frankly, part of me worried they just wanted to be able to say their kids were being coached by a former big leaguer. I was pretty sure they didn't realize how strongly I felt about coaching kids. I was willing to undertake this, but under several conditions I outlined in a 5-page, single-spaced letter in response to their request. I wrote it because I hadn't planned to coach a team. I would have been just fine sitting and watching the games from way down the right field line. Youth sports had changed too much since my childhood days in Reynoldsburg, Ohio, riding my bike with my glove on the handlebars to JFK Park. During the off-season, I watched my kids play indoor soccer and ice hockey, and it became obvious to me that some of the adults were absolutely off their rockers. I found unbelievable and downright wrong the craziness among parents in the stands and in the parking lots, and the way some coaches treated the kids. So I thought,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?